Hey, everybody, and welcome to Comics and Cinema. I'm your host, Alex Klein, and we've got a great show for you guys today. I'm going to be flying solo, just like the old days, and we are smack dab in the middle of the year, which, if you'd have told me that at any point in time, including last year or last yesterday, I wouldn't have believed you. This year has been absolutely flying by. We've had so many great movies come out, so many big blockbusters coming out. And since we've hit the halfway point, and for those who celebrate, which I would assume is everyone, right at the beginning of summer, which was, I think that's actually today, is the first day of summer. So happy summer to everybody. We're here. Let's talk about what's coming up. So there have been so many movies, again, that have come out throughout the year. And I wanted to talk about some of my most anticipated films for 2022. So that is going to consist of me going through the coming soon films on IMDb. I have a list of my top 10. They are in the order that they are being released so that I show no bias because certain movies, I feel like I'm really pumped about them one day, and then another day it's kind of a take it or leave it sort of situation. So I've got those, but as I scroll through here, I'm going to make sure to call out some of the other movies that maybe didn't make it on my list. To keep you guys in the loop. So again, this is kind of your look ahead for 2022 up till the end of the year. And before we get started as well, for those of you following the Nerd Life Network, make sure to check out the Earth's Mightiest Weirdos episode that we had yesterday. I got the pleasure of hosting while Brian was out. And, I don't know if we'll say that, I don't know, someone's coming for his hosting gig. So, Brian, if you're listening, get ready. I've gotten probably about 15,000 letters in the mail just saying, hey, when are you hosting the next Earth's Mightiest Weirdos episode? So, no, obviously we love you, Brian. And hey, anytime you hear a tease from me, it's in good jest. But we had a great time. Maya and David were with us. So check out Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. We're talking Miss Marvel episode 2. So with that said, let's dive in. So we actually have a triple header this weekend. These are not included in the anticipated list because they are basically here. Sarah, I see you in the chat. What's up? Glad you could make it. So for this weekend, Baz Luhrmann's Elvis is coming out, which honestly I wasn't super excited for at the onset, but as it gets closer, I'm kind of really excited for it. My dad's a big Elvis fan, and I'd let him know about this movie. And I actually learned an interesting fact about him, which was that he's actually a bigger fan of Elvis as an actor than he is as Elvis the musician, which I had no idea. Obviously, he's a huge fan of him as a musician too, but he said he loves his movies. I let him know too, though, that Elvis does not make an appearance in this film that we know of, unless they're going to do some sort of Tupac hologram type situation. But Elvis comes out. It is a beast, 2 hours and 39 minutes. But what else would you have expected from Baz Luhrmann, who has done such films as Moulin Rouge and The Great Gatsby? But along with that, we are getting, for those of you that listen to Spotify, I'm sure you've heard the ad for The Black Phone, currently at 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. Ethan Hawke is the Black Phone. Don't answer that phone. It doesn't work. You can clearly tell that I've heard this ad a lot of times. I'm actually super excited for this movie. I don't know if I'm going to get to see it this weekend, but it's definitely on my radar. As is an indie film that I'll be surprised if any of you out there are checking this out this weekend. I don't know how many theaters it's being released in, but Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which is another A24 film. They are on fire this year. A24 has been banging on all cylinders. Same thing. I don't even know if any theaters nearby are going to be showing this. I'm not in a super big hurry to see it, but I know it's probably going to be a lot of good fun. So as I scroll down this list, I have to call it out, and I will say that this is not at all a part of my list. This shouldn't be a part of anybody's list. It's a part of my brother's list, and I don't understand why. But Minions: The Rise of Gru comes out July 1st. So for those of you looking for a family-friendly flick to see over the 4th of July weekend, by all means, go check out Jurassic World, because no one should be going to see this Minions movie. I saw the trailer, and the Minions are flying a plane, and they fly it completely vertical up into the air. The physics doesn't work. Every single scene was complete cringe for me. At the same time, though, I know if I watch it, I'll probably get a couple good chuckles out of it. But come on, who let a minion be a flight attendant on the plane? Not only that, but his little booty was poking out as he flushed himself down the plane toilet. Like I said, I only watched this trailer once before Jurassic World, and I just was rolling my eyes. And I said to myself, my brother is going to love this movie. And I'm not talking about my youngest brother, guys. I'm talking about the brother that is almost 2 years younger than me, which is just, hey, you know what? We like what we like. Art is subjective, but I am judging. So that leads me to the first anticipated movie for me. Again, these are going in order of release. So we'll be ending at the end of the year. Come on, guys. Did you think it was anything else? Thor, Love and Thunder, which comes out July 8th. I've secured 2 sets of tickets already for Thursday opening night and then also for Friday afternoon as well. I am so excited for this movie. We know so little about it. And I've been every day, I feel like I'm trying to like slowly fog my brain so that I forget about even more things of it because I want to go into this movie and I just want to be blown away. And I know I will be just from the trailer that I've seen, the colors, everything with gore seems absolutely insane. Christian Bale is flying high in this one, as is, we can't go without saying, Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, one of my most recent favorite characters in the comics, and Natalie Portman, my favorite actress. So that's going to be a match made in heaven. Cannot wait to see that. Plus, we get Tessa Thompson, Chris Hemsworth, Taika Waititi, and I'm sure a slew of other people. Is Hella going to make a return? Maybe. I don't know. Just getting my hopes up. But that movie comes out. The tickets are already available. So go secure them if you're trying to go. Again, this is a Taika Waititi. Also surprising on the runtime, the movie is an hour and 59 minutes long. Now, typically we would say that's, it's with credits, so it's going to be shorter, but we're all going to be staying till the end. So technically it will be the full hour and 59 minutes, but that's pretty short. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. It's even shorter than Doctor Strange. And part of me is excited, but every time I look at my phone and see that 159, something just doesn't look right about it. It seems kind of cheap. But again, I think that's just my brain. So very excited to see a very tight runtime. I have no doubt that every minute is going to be utilized in the best way. So very shortly after that, the following week, we get my number 2 anticipated film, which is Where the Crawdads Sing. So really excited for this movie. This was a book that I read last year. And for those of you that don't know, I am a very big and very avid reader. Obviously, I read comic books, but I also read a ton of books. You guys are lucky. You actually pulled me away from a book that I was reading called Scythe, if any of you have read it. Amazing. I was literally reading it up until 5 minutes before we started recording because I couldn't put it down. So that's the book I'm reading currently. But last summer, I read Where the Crawdads Sing. Didn't know anything about it. Loved the name of the title. I love crawdads and I love the swamp. So I was like, all right, let's go. Let's just check this out. Sarah calling out too. Dalia Owens is such an incredible writer. Oh my gosh, yes, Sarah. And she, in reading it, again, I knew nothing about this book, nothing about the story. And I was like, wow, this is really detailed, really well written. It's about a girl who grows up in the marsh. She's called the Marsh Girl. And it takes place, I believe, in the 1950s. There's some flashbacks maybe to like the 1920s, but there's a lot of biology in the book, a lot of metaphors about animals and about swamp creatures, all that sort of stuff. And it turns out Dalia Owens was a biologist for a really long time, and I just was like, man, I'm a writer too, and so I was super jealous. I'm like, man, so she went and pursued her passion for biology and learned about all these animals, and then she was like, you know what, I'm going to write a book. Let's see how that goes. And she ended up writing an amazing book. So amazing that they decided to turn it into a movie. So this is being directed by Olivia Newman, who is known for, according to IMDb, she First Match, FBI, Dare Me, some Chicago Fire. So relative newcomer in the directing world. Written by Lucy Abelard as well, screenplay. She also did Beasts of the Southern Wild and Troop Zero. Again, I don't know how much that's worth, though, since it's also based off of a book. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot of book stuff. Starring Daisy Edgar Jones as Kaya. Garrett Dillahunt is in it as well. From there's a lot of shows he's from. The first thing that popped in my head was I think it was Raising Phoenix, which I watched like an episode of. But he was in. Man, he's great though. He's great. Joe Crest is in it. Harris Dickinson from 1917 is in it, though I think he plays a bad guy. I don't know. Taylor John Smith plays Tate, and then also David Strathairn is in it as well. For those of you who have seen, last thing I remember him in was Nomadland. He was opposite Frances McDormand in that. So super excited for this movie. I was reading the book before I found out that it was a movie, so it was kismet in that sense of just like, yes, it's been so long since I have read a book about a movie that's about to come out, minus every single Marvel movie, because that's basically the same. Okay, that same week, Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank comes out. It's not on my list. But like I said, I'm going to call out the other ones as well. Let's see if an animated movie about karate that isn't Kung Fu Panda, but is probably using all of the same cultural tropes, does anything on the second weekend of Thor. My guess would be Thor's still going to be number one at the box office. Crawdads is going to be close behind, and Pause is hopefully going to just be taking a pause. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll disappear off the release bucket. So from there, another back-to-back weekend. So we've got movies coming out both those weekends. Third weekend in a row. Third most anticipated film. Nope. That's the movie. That's not my reaction to it. My reaction to this would be, if we're talking kind of E40 style, they're calling it Nope. I'd call it Yep, because I love aliens. I love flying saucers, UFOs, that whole time period too. I think this takes place kind of in California. And it's also based around, this is a Jordan Peele movie, if any of you weren't aware, but this was, Jordan Peele is just a movie genius. He did first he did Get Out, and then he did Us, which was awesome too. And I think I almost liked Us more than Get Out, but Get Out, you're talking 9s and 10s at this point. Nope, very excited to see it. The residents of a lonely gulch in inland California bear witness to an uncanny and chilling discovery. This was a really great example of strong, smart marketing for the movie. We know very little about this, and it was only recently that we found out that it's about UFOs. And honestly, we don't even know if that's what it's about. That's what they're saying it's about. But both of Jordan Peele's movies have had huge twists in them. So I am sure that there's going to be a little bit of that. We also have an all-star cast here with Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer playing the main couple of the film. I think they own like the only black horse ranch, Black Run Horse Ranch in California or something like that. Very cool. Stephen Yeun is in it as well from Minari, and I think he was in I Think You Should Leave, a great episode of that. And also Keith David's in it, I'm seeing too as I scroll by. He's one of my hearted people. But again, written and directed by Jordan. He's a genius. Tickets are on sale for this movie. So if you're wanting to get tickets already, go for it. I will probably wait until it gets a little closer just because I've got so much stuff going on. I can't think that far ahead. But anyway, we're going to move on. As I scroll through here, again, this is not on my list. I have no real desire to see this film, especially after watching the trailer. But on July 29th, we are getting DC's League of Super Pets, which again, I mean, if you like The Rock, if you like animated movies, if you like DC, I guess, check it out. Maybe good, maybe just the same thing as The Secret Life of Pets. So, who knows? The jury's out. It also comes, though, as guys, during the summer, there's a genre of film that is frequently misunderstood and frequently underrated and underappreciated, and that is the stressful, natural horror films. And I'm trying to think of how to describe this properly, but this is the first one. It's called The Reef, Stalked. I don't know anything about it other than what I saw, which was that a couple of friends are going on a kayaking trip and a shark is following them. So think of it exactly the same as the Blake Lively shark movie, that other shark movie, the other shark movie, and probably two other shark movies. That's what I'm talking about. And there's two shark movies coming this summer. We've got The Reef, Stalked, and then there's another one that's called, I think, Alphas, and it comes out in a couple months. We'll talk about it when we get there. There's also a third one. It's not a shark, but it's a giant metal object and called Fall, which actually I don't know if we skipped over yet. I won't talk about it if we did. Same thing. People, I guess, are stuck on top of a very tall metal tower. It's kind of like Crawl as well, but called Fall. So just those very stressful movies where there's no supernatural element to it. It's real world. There's a shark, there's a gator, there's a tower, whatever it is, and it just makes you incredibly stressful. Okay, my number 4 anticipated movie comes out August 5th, and this has been kind of playing in trailers for quite a while. Yeah, and Sarah says, "Nah, that's a big old nope." And I hope you're talking about the shark movie and not the Nope movie. I'm assuming you are. This is Bullet Train on August 5th. I'm pumped for this movie. This has a. I'm trying to think of some of the vibes of it, but like I feel like there's just a ton of classic train movies like Darjeeling Limited, and gosh, there was another really great one. I think there's a James Bond movie maybe where they're on it. Yeah. It was in Casino Royale. There's always great movies when you're on a train. 5 assassins aboard a fast-moving bullet train find out their missions have something in common. We've got Brad Pitt, Karen Fukuhara, Sandra Bullock. Maybe we'll call this the Bullock Train. Zazie Beetz is in it, or Zissy Bates, I believe, as she prefers to be called. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Joey King, Logan Lerman, Michael Shannon. Holy cow. Also, Hiroyuki Sanada is in it as well, for those of you who are fans of his performance from Avengers Endgame. This is directed by David Leitch, who did Deadpool 2, Hobbs and Shaw, Atomic Blonde, John Wick. So I have a feeling this movie is going to be in that exact same vein of being hyper violent, hyper action. Sarah called it. I'll pull this up too. Goofy action. Brad Pitt is the best Brad Pitt. Could not agree more with that, Sarah. It reminds me a bit of his performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he's beating up Bruce Lee. Just that, again, Brad Pitt has such a charisma about him, and it makes when he acts silly that much better because you're just like, this guy's awesome. So super pumped for this one. I hope the whole thing takes place on a train, but maybe it won't because I'm looking here, 2.5 hours long, 2 hours and 32 minutes. So this is it's a long one. Yeah, the Bullock Train. Heck yeah. Okay, yeah, and here we go. August 12th is Fall. Like I said, the trailer I think we saw the trailer in Jurassic World as well. And literally the trailer is just the camera zooming up and up and up as this person's screaming or something. And they were somehow stuck on the top of this tower. And for those, I mean, Google it. Literally the poster of the movie is them on this insanely tall tower in the middle of nowhere. I'd love to hear the plot of this. 2 friends decide to dare each other to climb the tallest tower in Pasadena. And when they get to the top, they realize they climbed a little too high. I don't understand it. Again, it's going to be stressful. And if you like those kinds of movies, then congratulations. But no, thank you. I'll wait for sure. I don't know though. Maybe I will. I saw Crawl in theaters and it was totally worth it. I was squirming in my seat. So it was Don't Breathe was also incredibly stressful. Coming out right after that, and I don't know if any of you are there anime fans out there, but Dragon Ball Superhero, the new Dragon Ball movie. I saw Dragon Ball Broly. I own Dragon Ball Broly now, and that movie was absolutely incredible. I expect nothing less from this. Not on my list though, so we'll keep moving along. Next one that I have on here. Oh, great call out. Not on my list. I don't know a lot about it, but a movie called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. Which comes out shortly after that, September 2nd. So we're now slowly getting into fall. In the aftermath of a huge scandal, Trinity Childs, the first lady of a prominent Southern Baptist megachurch, attempts to help her pastor husband, Lee Curtis Childs, rebuild their congregation. And this is what sold me on this. For the premise, interesting. But Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown, come on. That is amazing. Like what a combo. I think it's a fresh new director as well. It's sitting with some reviews on IMDb already. I don't think it's great according to these reviews, but that concept, I'm a sucker for Regina Hall, and I love Sterling K. Brown as well. And especially if this is going to be, it's a comedy, so I have a feeling that he's going to get to kind of have some of those comedy chops. He's usually playing a serious character. So we'll see about that. Here we go. September 16th, we have Alphas. After the government shuts all attempts to cull a great white feeding off of the coast, The only option left is to introduce their natural enemy into those same waters, led by a damaged and unpredictable killer whale. Yeah, so there's a lot of questions to this movie as well. And if you're thinking, oh, can't wait to see this in the $5 bin, don't be so sure because it stars Sam Worthington. So this might actually be a. Actually, I'm not even seeing it show the cast. So maybe this movie won't exist. Maybe it will be a dollar bin movie. Maybe it will be a streaming movie. A fight to the depths is the tagline. Classic. But yeah, I mean, it shows a killer. You ever want to see a killer whale fight a shark with Sam Worthington in the middle? Come on, come on. That'll be crazy. I'm probably not going to go see it. It may not even come to theaters, but that's because the same weekend, my next most anticipated movie comes out, which is The Woman King. And I was intrigued by the title, and then I was intrigued even more that the Woman King is Viola Davis. And then I was intrigued even more when also Lashana Lynch is in it, and John Boyega, Jamie Lawson, Jordan Bolger, Hero Finns Tiffin, um, Sheila Atim as well. What a absolute cast, directed by Gina Price Blythewood. And if any of you out there know who that is, she directed The Old Guard on Netflix, but much more importantly, she was also, I believe she directed or was a part of Queen and Slim, which we had a podcast episode on a while back. So very excited for this. A historical epic inspired by the true events that happened in the Kingdom of Dahomey, one of the most powerful states of Africa in the 18th and 19th century. So that would be the 17 and 1800s. Give that to me. We are in desperate need of seeing different cultures and how they rose to power. Obviously, we have 100 movies about Greece, about Rome. We need some more in South America too. I think there's some really interesting things there with the pyramids, but Africa is sorely underdeveloped, and so I'm so happy to see this. I would not be surprised if this ends up being in the awards running for those of you out there hearing it first here. But come on, I mean, any time that Viola Davis is in something, there's always going to be talk of the awards. So either way, though, very excited for that movie. Been looking forward to it for a while. And then shortly after that, the following week, we have another one of Alex's most anticipated films, Don't Worry, Darling, which to me, and you guys can tell me, sounds a lot like The Stepford Wives. A 1950s housewife living with her husband in a utopian experimental community begins to worry that her glamorous company may be hiding something disturbing. Starring Florence Pugh, hello, Sydney Chandler, Olivia Wilde, Chris Pine, Harry Styles, Timothy Simmons, Gemma Chan, Kiki Lane. Guys, it also has Douglas Smith, who was from, oh man, I was just watching that. It was The Alienist, if any of you have seen The Alienist. Also, you say, oh, Olivia Wilde's in it? Oh, that's awesome. No. It's not just that. Olivia Wilde is directing it as well. So this is an Olivia Wilde directed for you, written by Katie Silberman, Carrie Van Dyke, and Shane Van Dyke as well. Again, sounds a lot like the Stepford Wives, but at the same time, if we can get a twist on that whole Stepford vibe has always fascinated me. The original movie is great. The one with the guy who killed two people in Ireland was great. the remake with Matthew Broderick. I'm always required to remind people, though, that he did kill two people in Ireland. But just that whole concept of, there's something that doesn't sit right. Something's going on beneath the surface. So if they have a new twist with that and Florence Pugh's in it, I know for a fact she probably chose this because it reminded her of some of the other performances she did. Very Midsummer vibe of what's going on here. Oh, man, and there's a photo here. It looks like I think her husband is Harry Styles. So for those of you that have been standing Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, here you go. I imagine after this, nothing will be as it was. So next up, we've got a movie again. I'll call it out. I don't care. Hocus Pocus 2 comes, I think, straight to Disney Plus on September 30th. For those of you who are fans of Hocus Pocus 1, I am more of a Hocus Nocus, or maybe more of just a no thank you, I'll pass. I've seen the movie. It scared me when I was a kid. Yeah, that's probably affected me as an adult not liking it, but I have also rewatched it as an adult. And I'm just there's other movies of the time that I enjoyed a lot more, but I know we've got a lot of Hocus Pocus heads out there, and that is totally fine. So for those of you that are fans, rejoice. Everyone is coming back. Looks like Doug Jones is in it as well as Sarah Jessica Parker. Speaking of Sarah, specifically saying for me to take it back, Sarah, I don't even know what you're talking about. You might have to be a little more specific about that so I know what I need to. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm not going to take it back. So we are now getting into, and I'm only clicking on this one because this is a little interesting. There's a movie called Lyle Crocodile. So Ryan, if you're listening to this, here's your movie. Oh, it's a feature film based on the children's book about a crocodile that lives in New York City. Just the movie that we have all been dying to watch. I can't wait. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a Disney movie. That's a We've talked about that multiple times on the podcast. We love recycling content. But now we're going to get into we're getting into spooky season, guys. We're into October now. And I'm excited because we have a certain series that is coming to an end. And it's in the title. October 14th, Halloween Ends. So excited for this movie. Halloween Kills was great. And also equal parts frustrating as well that no one seems to be able to kill this man. But here's what they have to say about it. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode comes to a spine-chilling climax in this final installment to the franchise. Until the next franchise, am I right? But no, this is exciting. This was one of those things where they announced all three of the movies when they were doing the first movie. And I had to give them props for that because these Halloweens, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, they've been remade and redone over and over, trying to find some sort of spark. I feel like Halloween maybe has gotten the closest to it. I would argue also Friday the 13th probably has a lot of great entries as well. But for you to just come out and say, hey, we're going to make a trilogy of these movies, and even if they're to say we're going to get the same actors to come back, and then there's going to be a definitive end, that excites me. I mean, like I said, I'm a huge Halloween head. I love the original. I've seen some of the other ones. I like the one with Exhibit. I don't remember which one that is. I think that one Jamie Lee Curtis was in as well. I really, really like the Rob Zombie ones, and I know I'm in the minority of that, but I love the Rob Zombie ones, and these ones have been great too. So I'm really looking forward to this. David Gordon Green is back. So are all of the cast. Will Patton, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kyle Richards is coming back for this, for fans of the Real Housewives. All around excited to see that movie and to kick off another spooky season. It'll be kind of sad when it's done because, what's going to come and replace that? We don't know. So that's on my list. That was my next anticipated. Here's another one. I was going to put this on my list, but I'm actually not that anticipated for it, which is strange. Black Adam with The Rock. I saw, finally, for the first time, I saw a trailer during the Jurassic World premiere, and I thought it looked good. I will definitely go see it when it comes out, but I don't know. There was nothing about it besides The Rock, obviously. I'm a big Rock fan, and that's probably why I'll go see it, but nothing about it really excited me. There was nothing in it that seemed new. And I can't, maybe that's kind of the point too, right? Because he's like an ancient villain. I don't know a lot about Black Adam, but it seems like maybe he has some Egyptian roots. Give me as much Egypt as you can, DC. But right now, DC's in a lot of hot water, not just for me, but for everybody. And I know that they are biding their time to release The Flash, to release Aquaman. And so kind of a smart play for them to put these movies out first and maybe try and muddy the waters a little bit. Though I guarantee you by the time the questionable movies come out, there's still going to be some issues with those people. So I don't think it's going to help. Directed by Jaime Colette Serra, who did... No way, guys. He was an executive producer on The Shallows. That was the movie with Blake Lively, the shark movie. So does that mean I have to trust him now? He did. He helped on. I don't know if any of these are actually directing credits, but helped out on Unknown, Orphan, House of Wax, The Commuter. Seems like he's a big Liam Neeson fan. He did Run All Night as well. Okay, fine. Here's my prediction: Liam Neeson shows up in this movie because he's done almost every Liam Neeson movie. It's got Sarah Shahi in it, along with Dwayne Johnson. Pierce Brosnan is in it as Dr. Fate. That's exciting. Noah Centineo, Aldous Hodge, Natalie Byrne, Joseph Gatt. Great cast. It seems like they're introducing some other Justice League type characters as well. Again, I am not very well versed in DC though, so I'll be going into it as a movie going fan, but I'm not really looking forward to it. I'm kind of just, I'll be here for it. I'm glad we at least get to see The Rock being a superhero though. Another one, not anticipated, but I saw it as I was scrolling. And I was like, ooh, this title sounds interesting. Tell me, if someone said, hey, do you want to go see a movie? And you said, yeah. What's the title? The Banshees of Inisherin. This is a Martin McDonagh movie. And for those of you that don't know who he is, he did In Bruges. He did Seven Psychopaths. He did Three Billboards. Basically, he did some of my favorite movies. I love all of those. There was a point in time where after I graduated from college, I did like a kind of binge of Irish films. And so those were some of the ones that I had watched and just, so great to see he's doing another movie. But not only that, he's got quite the cast with him, and it's the usual suspects. He's got Colin Farrell, Barry Keoghan, and Brendan Gleeson in it as well, which is very exciting. That's really all we know about it. Comes out in October 21st. And it says, this is such an interesting premise because, again, title is The Banshees of Inisherin. A pair of lifelong friends on a remote Irish island find themselves at an awkward time in their relationship when one of them no longer wants to be friends. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that as we all grow and evolve as human beings, but I imagine it can be a little harder to do when you're on an isle in Ireland. So very excited for the Banshees of Inisherin. So next up, we've got, again, another one that's not on my list, but calling it out anyway, which is Amsterdam. For those of you who may not be familiar with this one, again, I don't blame you. I only found about it as I was looking through this list. But it's the next David O. Russell movie. The man who brought us Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, and he is now tackling another period piece. We got kind of current day with Silver Linings. We got the 1960s with American Hustle. Set in the 1930s, it follows three friends who witness a murder, become suspects themselves, and uncover one of the most outrageous plots in American history. What that plot is, I don't know. But what had me at hello was the poster, which has Christian Bale, John David Washington, and I think it's Zoe Saldana, though I might be wrong. But there's so many people in this cast. Margot Robbie, Anya Taylor-Joy, Christian Bale, Robert De Niro, Timothy Olyphant, Zoe Saldana, Rami Malek, Andres Riseborough, Michael Shannon, Michael Myers, and I'm talking about the donkey Michael Myers, not the Michael Myers from Halloween Ends. Alessandro Nivola is in it. Matthias Schoenaerts. Taylor Swift is in it. Chris Rock is in it, and Will Smith. Just kidding. Just Chris Rock. It's going to be a while before we see Will Smith again. Sarah, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from that accent. I do try. Okay, but David O. Russell, very excited. Amsterdam, we don't know a lot about it. Very interesting. But again, I don't know what to think of it, so it's not on my anticipated list. But this next movie is November 11th, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Probably one of the most anticipated films for me and has been since the beginning of the year. I think you could probably go back to some older podcasts. And I had said Black Panther was my most anticipated specifically because I got to know what they're going to do about Chadwick. You've got half the aisle saying, or I guess you've got Marvel and Disney saying, oh, this is sacred ground now. We can't recast. We can't put T'Challa in this movie. We're gonna honor him. We're gonna all these different things. But then you also have people like guy I follow named E-Man, who does awesome movie reviews. You can find him on Twitter. Has put up a petition to recast T'Challa, as has most of Chadwick Boseman's family, friends, people there. And there's so many reasons for it. Not only because every other character gets recast a million times, right? Rhodey got recast, Hulk got recast, Batman has been recast multiple times. How about this? Heath Ledger died, and they still recast the Joker. There's so many reasons why, and one of the biggest ones being that Black Panther is, and T'Challa himself is a hero, and he's a character much the same as Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, doesn't say Stephen Strange, but these characters that are larger than life that kids look up to. And how many characters in the Marvel pantheon are um, are black, right? We've got Miles Morales, we've got Rhodey, but T'Challa he's the king of Wakanda. And you have kids of all races looking up to him saying, wow, this is somebody that I want to be when I grow up. What kind of message are you sending when you say, oh, if the actor who played him dies, we're going to just retire that character? Yet when that happens to any other person who isn't black, we just recast the character and move on. Again, I don't know what Marvel is doing. I don't know if this is a marketing stunt to try and build buzz for the movie, and then surprise, we are going to do it. But that's why this is my most anticipated movie. And honestly, of all of these, is my most anticipated movie of the year, of all of this stuff, just for that very reason. And we are so close to finding some information out, right? There's been a lot of controversy swirling around this movie. You've got the passing of Chadwick, all of the stuff that's been going on with Letitia Wright as well, which again, we won't get into any of that stuff, but I just need to know. And we're getting to the spot now where Kevin Feige, the head honcho at Marvel Studios, just said that in the coming months, things are going to start looking a little clearer as to where they're headed for this next saga of films. And, that means to me is that they're going to have some big announcements. That means those are probably going to be at Comic-Con and D23, which are both coming up in the next few months. And during either of those, this is my receipt, either of those, we are going to be getting a Black Panther trailer because we need to, right? We have to. In the same vein that when did they release the Thor trailer, right? They gave that to us probably month and a half, 2 months. It was definitely after Doctor Strange, if I'm remembering right. Or maybe it was right before Doctor Strange. But regardless, November is not that far away. 2 months prior to November would be September. Right before that's August. If it doesn't even have to be a full trailer, right? They could release a teaser. But that brings me to this point and why this is so anticipated for me. What do you show in the trailer? Do you show Black Panther? Do you show the movie is called Black Panther? Do you show him in the trailer? Do you show a new actor in the trailer? Because that's the risk you take, right? If they have recast it already, and this is some big secret that no one knows about, do you play your hand that early? Or do you wait for that to be something during the movie? Regardless, any way that you slice it, it is going to be emotional for people. Whether they find out somebody was recasted in the film, tears come racing down, or no one's recasted. Black Panther's not even in the movie. Doesn't make sense. But we're gonna have the boo-hoos at that point. Or we see the trailer in advance. We're gonna get the boo-hoos then. There's just, like I said, there's such a mystery around this movie that makes me so excited for it. I want to see this. I can't wait for it to come out because, again, I trust Marvel. I trust Kevin. And I definitely trust Ryan Coogler as well, especially because he was such close friends with Chadwick, that I know it just makes me, it makes me very excited, very hopeful, but it also has me holding my breath at the same time. Because like I said, it can go either way. So we will see what they decide to do. It's going to be a big thing one way or the other, bigger than really any of the other stuff that's coming out here. But regardless, that is my number 8, my number 8 anticipated movie. And it looks like Mamacita has popped into the chat. My dear mother, listened to you this morning for Jurassic Park and tonight. That's how I celebrate the summer solstice. Thank you, Mom. Yeah, I wished everyone here a happy summer. We're here on that right now. I only wish we used to live in one of our old houses. We were on solstice, so we always had little summer solstice and winter solstice parties. But yeah, so for those of you celebrating the solstice, happy solstice. Go check out that Jurassic Park episode, which was our last one that we put out. Next up, we've got, again, not anticipated, but my brother said that he saw this trailer when he went and saw Men, which was another A24 movie, called The Menu. That is Anya Taylor-Joy and Ray Fiennes, along with Nicholas Hoult and Janet McTeer from Ozark and Jessica Jones. A young couple travel to a remote island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. I mean, to me, the first thing that comes to my mind is probably cannibalism, I assume. But regardless, you get Anya Taylor-Joy. You get, oh my goodness, John Leguizamo is in it as well. Oh man, this is going to be good. You got Ray Fiennes as well. So it's a chef movie. So I'm a sucker for those types of films. I loved Burnt. And I don't think that one sat well with a lot of people, but I loved that. I loved Chef. I loved the 100-Foot Journey. So this will be one I'll definitely enjoy. There's also Strange World, comes out November 23rd, which is a Disney film. Reminds me of the comic series Weird World. It says the legendary Clades are a family of explorers whose differences threaten to topple their latest and most crucial mission. Very interesting. Again, I don't know if that's coming straight to Disney Plus or the movies, but there it is. My number 9 most anticipated movie of the year. Here we go. Same week, November 23rd. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Creed 3. The movie's so nice, they made it thrice. It's all the same people, too, except I don't think it's, Michael. That's right. Okay, so you got Tessa Thompson, Michael B. Jordan. Jonathan Majors is in it. Who is he going to be playing? Directed by Michael B. Jordan. How cool is that? That's awesome. I loved the other 2 Creed movies. I thought they were awesome. Honestly, I like them better than the Rocky movies just because I never really connected with the Rocky movies. But I'm excited for that one. There's no poster, no trailer, no nothing. We're getting into those murky waters. We're far from the shallow now, as Lady Gaga would say. And we don't know a lot about what's going on in this movie. And it doesn't even it just says 3rd installment of the franchise. But the last one was really good. The one before it was really great. So really looking forward to that. Next movie, again, obligated to call this out, but it is not on my anticipated list. Feel free to chide me in the comments, everyone. Avatar: The Way of Water. The way of water is to go with the flow, and that's what I'm going to do. I can't control the the stream that is flowing from James Cameron's mind for these movies. He's got obviously the original Avatar that came out in 2009, I think. And I thought that was enough. I saw that movie once in theaters, and I said to myself after I walked out, I was like, that was just Pocahontas. And I wasn't being ironic. I wasn't a fan of the movie. The CGI was really good. I will not deny that. It was great. But the story was a very, very basic story. And so to have to sit there for that long to know exactly how it's going to end, I remember, calling out moments in the movie. I was like, yep, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. But I get it, right? We're trying to show you how great CGI has come. Well, cool. Watch any other movie that's being made right now. The CGI is fine, unless don't go watch the CGI face work from Star Wars. That you can skip that. Okay, Jake Sully. I honestly look, if you're listening to this, and I know you are, is there any way Jake Sully? I get it. Sam Worthington, he's a big part of this as well. But I know for a fact that Sam Worthington is very busy making alphas. He is having to work and train and play with sharks and with killer whales. What if instead of that Sully, we got the Sully? I'm talking about the Sully from the movie Sully. I'm talking about bringing in Tom Hanks as Sully Sullenberger, the guy who lands the plane. Can you imagine him having to land one of those flying creatures? I would pay to go see that. I would have AMC A-list. I'd go to another theater. I'll pay to go see that because to me, just that premise is more interesting than anything this movie is actually going to do. Jake Sully lives with his newfound family, forged on the planet of Pandora. Once a familiar threat returns To finish what was previously started, Jake must work with Nitri and the army of the Na'vi race to protect their planet. I think I can actually give them an even shorter synopsis. When the ideas and concepts from the first movie have been gone for so long, almost 20 years, it made sense for the studio to reuse and recycle those plot points for a second movie. Just like water, it'll go down smooth. That's what I think about this. Michelle Yeoh's in it though, and Zoe Saldana. We knew she was going to be in it though. Kate Winslet is in it. I swear. Okay, hear me out. Here's what we're gonna do. And Sigourney Weaver, yeah, of course she's back. Okay, look. So Sully has to fly one of those birds and land it on the Titanic while Kate Winslet simultaneously is trying to steer the Titanic away from the Na'vi world because Sigourney Weaver somehow resurrected the Titanic. I don't know. Again, even that psychotic storyline would be more interesting than them saying a familiar threat is returning because we couldn't think of anything else. Speaking of remakes, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish comes out December 21st. I know what my last wish is for this movie to not exist. Puss in Boots discovers that his passion for adventure has taken its toll. He has burned through 8 of his 9 lives. Oh, interesting. Puss sets out on an epic journey to find the mythical last wish and restore his 9 lives. What are we teaching kids? Yeah. You get 9 lives and you've wasted 8 of them. So instead of making that last life count, you should spend the rest of your days trying to find more lives. I can't even do that. Shouldn't even be a part of the list. All right, the last movie that is anticipated, which is right at the end, comes out on December 21st as well. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And I only have this on here. We know nothing about it. No plot details. Obviously, the same people are going to be in it. It looks like Helen Mirren is in it, along with Lucy Liu as well. So just fine with me. That sounds great. And David Sandberg, the guy who did Lights Out, or I said Don't Breathe, but Lights Out was the other one. Okay, Joey. Great. So my brother is in the chat. Joey, funny enough, I was sort of dissing you earlier, talking about Minions: The Rise of Gru, and I said I can't believe my brother would be wanting to see this movie. And I'm not even talking about my younger brother Joey. I'm talking about Stevie. But yeah, of course you would want to go see Puss in Boots. I bet you've already pre-ordered tickets. I bet you already reserved a whole theater to go see it with your friends. So Shazam! Fury of the Gods, super pumped about that. And speaking of which, I know Joey loves Shazam. That's a big family favorite of ours. That was an awesome movie. Really looking forward to the sequel. And again, kind of hopefully has nothing to do with any of the other DC characters at this point. So that's our slate for the year. So as you're listening to this, kind of think about that, because as I was going through and reading this list, I don't know. I was like, that just doesn't seem like a lot of movies. And I know we're in what I would call like the final phase of the pandemic when it comes to movie studios, right? We're seeing the rise of big movies. Top Gun is still kicking butt. Lisa and I actually went and saw Top Gun this weekend, and the theater was still packed. It was crazy. There were still people cheering in the theater, which was wild. Yeah, exactly. My brother says, very excited for Shazam. Could watch that many times in a row. And we definitely, I think you did that. The minute you ended it, you just pressed play again and watched it again. That's the beauty of what used to be VCRs, of just letting the movie rewind and play itself. But it's strange. For some reason, I feel like there would be more big ticket items. And we're at this 6-month point. So a lot of these studios have put out what those tickets are, right? You got Amsterdam, basically, the big directors. And the only other one that I would say is Damien Chazelle's new movie, which I'm really looking forward to, called Babylon. But that doesn't come out until January 6th. So that means unless you live in LA and New York City, you will not be able to see that movie until either the new year or shortly before the new year. So it just, I don't know. It just feels like there aren't as many coming out. I know they pushed a lot more back into next year due to probably some pandemic stuff from the beginning of the year. I'm thinking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 got pushed back. Transformers got pushed back. I don't know. There's just a lot of movies that I feel like were supposed to come out this year that didn't. And I'm hoping maybe this year is the last of that we finally start staying on track with what the schedule is. And with that in mind, I wanted to share with you guys what the comics and cinema schedule is going forward. So I've been doing some data mining. I've been doing some algorithms, doing some work. I see Maya just joined the chat. What's up, Maya? You're just in time for us to end this episode. So today was kind of an audible. We were going to be talking about Lightyear. Things came up. We decided against it. And I thankfully didn't go see it in theaters. No offense to the movie, but I know it's coming to Disney Plus. So again, it's in the same vein for me as Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. And my last wish would be to not have to see that movie in theaters. So I made my wish come true. And instead, we are talking about this. But we have some great plans for comics and cinema for the next upcoming week. So for those of you that maybe are wanting to check some of these movies out so you can follow along with us, super excited. First up, week off next week. We're not going to have a show. I am going to be traveling for the 4th of July. So taking a much needed mental break. But when we come back, we will have a great episode around Thor comics. So we are going to be talking about Thor, God of Thunder, issues 1 through 12. That is from the Jason Aaron run. That deals with Gore the God Butcher, Christian Bale's character. So maybe there'll be some things in there. There have actually been scenes in the trailer specifically taken directly from those issues. And then we are also going to be reading the second Thor by Jason Aaron, issues 1 through 8, and the annual, which is Jane Foster as Thor. So we're going to be getting a dose of both of that, hopefully talking about some predictions, what's going to happen in Thor. We don't know. But from there, you guys know what's coming next, right? Thor comes out that week. So the following Tuesday, we will have our most likely gigantic, though I'm not so sure now compared to the runtime, Thor episode of Love and Thunder. Then about Where the Crawdads Sing. The following week, we will be doing an episode on Nope. Very excited about that. Following episode, this is very unique, and so we'll see how this pans out. I'm excited to try it in live stream format, and this was a big one for me as well. Typically, the live stream for me makes sense if you can talk for an hour. We're getting very close to that. But a lot of my shows, when I dive into the more Criterion type indie films, I don't talk about them for an hour just because there's not as much to talk about, like when I was talking about Dracula or Frankenstein. But I'm going to do one for a treat because I think this movie deserves it. We've got the 55-year anniversary of In the Heat of the Night, which is a Criterion film. Sidney Poitier stars in it, one of his best roles, in my opinion. And I have not seen this movie in a really long time, but it came out on Criterion, so I'm going to be watching it, prepped and ready to talk about it, to share with you guys some insights around that, because it's in the heat of the night. It's August. It's going to be hot. I think it's the perfect time to talk about that movie. 9th of August, the following week, we've got, I'll just say it as this for the month, we've got an episode for Bullet Train. We're going to have a She-Hulk comics episode. And that is all I'll tell you. But safe to say, I have a schedule for the whole year. We've got things coming. We've got things cooking, hands in pots, as many people would say. But that's where we're at. So very excited for the slate of films coming out this year. We've got some great ones coming up. Some other ones that I'm just not so sure about. And ironically, they were all animated movies. But that's the role that we run. So with that said, we will wrap things up. Oh, Maya, great. Okay, hang on. Maya has just called out in the chat. We need to address this. Knives Out 2. Knives Out 2 is not listed on this release schedule. And that's IMDb. So hang on a minute. And they're calling it Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. 2022. Yeah. Does it not come out? It just says 2022. We have no release date. But Knives Out will be one of the movies that we talk about whenever that comes out. What do we got on here? Man, these are all so good. I'm just going to add an 11th movie, and that's going to be my 11th anticipated movie. Maya says maybe it's in December. I think, like I said, there's no release date. I think because it's being done through Netflix, if I'm remembering right, maybe they're just releasing it on the streamer, and that's why. I have no idea. Mamacita says, can't wait for Crawdads. You and me both. I am so excited for that movie. We talked about that a little earlier. Like I said, a lot of really great ones. While the rest of the year may seem a little sparse, summer this is a good summer for movies. We've got a lot of great things coming out. And yeah, you know what? Fine. This is the beauty of the live stream, guys. I am gonna find that out, Mom. I'm gonna find out when Knives Out 2 comes out. Knives Out. Best part is I can edit all of this out in the podcast. With the film's Grease setting and summer vibes, our best bet is that Knives Out 2 launches summer of 2022 on Netflix. When did this come out? June 13th. Oh, okay. So, okay, no confirmation at when. Some people are guessing summer. Some people, but remember, summer is June through September, right? June, July. No, June through, no, it is till September 22nd. That's fall. So it could be in September. Regardless, what I have a feeling they will try to do with this movie is have it be eligible for the awards season. And so there's certain studios that will risk that and release something like Everything Everywhere All at Once very early on in the year. Very, very risky. Typically, those awards movies will be released between like November and December and January. But so I don't know. Maybe they'll release it then, or they're going to release it before. Either way, they're definitely going to want to probably get some awards there for it as well. So yeah, excited. Knives Out 2. Thank you for catching that, Maya. And hopefully you missed my whole rant about Avatar. So don't bother going back and listening to it because it'll just make you mad. So that is going to do it for us today on Comics and Cinema. Thank you guys so much for tuning in the chat. Thank you to all of you out there that are listening. And for Comics and Cinema, I'm your host, Alex Klein, and we will see you at the movies.